Welcome, everybody. Welcome to How to Cultivate Inner Resilience Through Impeccable Spiritual Hygiene. It was kind of fun coming up with that title. It was like churning in there. It was about spiritual hygiene, and then resilience came in last night. Had a full-on download last night about this notion of resilience, and so yep. Inner resilience is what came in. So first of all, for those of you who don't know us, my name is Kirsten Leekman, and I'm here with my beloved husband and partner on this journey, Rennie Davis. We don't say that.
Oh, yeah, right.
And, you know, both of our resumes are pretty long and varied and, you know, really a perfect weaving together to bring us to this exact very moment in time. And so the only thing I'm going to say about our resume is that we are calling ourselves ambassadors for a new humanity. And we will be explaining that a little bit today as well. So before we get started, this is about spiritual hygiene. This whole call is about helping you understand spiritual hygiene and how essential spiritual hygiene is. We're being taught right now, wash your hands, 2 minutes with antibacterial soap. Don't touch your face, don't ever do those things, because we need to have physical hygiene right now besides social distancing. But what is being missed is how incredibly important spiritual hygiene and inner hygiene is. So before we get into the talk portion of this, let's take a moment to do just a little bit of spiritual hygiene. And what I invite you to do is, as I take you through these individual steps, just notice how you feel before, and then notice if there's any subtle change in yourself when you do it after, when you've done that step. Because this is about subtlety training. Everything that we do is about subtle changes and noticing how you feel before and after you do something. What you'll learn about us is that all of our tools are incredibly precise, incredibly clear, step by step. We don't have a lot of fluff in our stuff, and some people don't like that, frankly. Some people don't enjoy the no fluff stuff, and that's okay. But if you like, instructions and tools and practices that are clear, precise, step by step, you are in the right place.
Right? You are.
Okay, so let's just take a moment. So just close your eyes for a moment and just take a note. How are you feeling right now? Just be honest. Nobody's, asking you how it is. Just note, is there a little agitation? Is there still something in there that is churning inside yourself? Just notice. Or are you feeling really good? Anywhere in between there, just note. And now I want you to send a grounding cord out of the bottom of your feet. Just imagine a grounding cord coming out of the bottom of your feet, 200 miles into the ground. This thing is full on high tech. It has a clamp at the bottom and it locks in. Just feel that sensation of having a grounding cord from your feet into the earth. And now let the energy of the earth come up that grounding cord and come up into your feet, up your legs, up your torso. Just feel that beautiful energy. If you're a visual person, it is a beautiful golden color. Just let that flow through you, down your arms, up into your head, up out of your head, and now it's out in your what we call your biofield, which is a matrix that comes off of your body. It's part of your body. And now this energy is flowing down through the biofield and re-entering your feet back where your feet are, and now that energy is looping. So there's energy coming in from the earth, it's looping down, up through your body, down through your biofield, and back up. And now you have a loop of earth energy coming through you. So you have your grounding cord in, and you have earth energy, which is very cleaning and clearing. Your body is completely nourished by this energy. Let that, just feel that flowing through. And feel how you feel now. Any kind of subtle change that happened with that. If it didn't, don't worry about it. Something happened, I guarantee you, if you did it. And some of us just don't feel things much at all. Some people feel it powerfully, some don't. So just let yourself experience that nourishing energy. And now take 3 one breaths. And one breaths are in through the nose, and you kind of pull it up through your head and let it drop down to the lungs. And you hold it for a beat or 2 there, and then very slowly let it out of the mouth. And again, notice how you feel with each one. So one breath in, down into the lungs, hold, and as you slowly release, you are relaxing. Let yourself relax with these one breaths. Feel it moving through your body. Just every muscle, every nerve, and every bone in your body is relaxing with each of these one breaths. And in through the nose, and as you exhale, you're resetting and coming into present moment. It's a cleansing breath that you're taking. And the last step we're going to do right now, there's many, many more I can promise you, but the last one we're going to do right now is when we step into fear or worry or anxiety or stress, one of the things that happens is we pull in, we contract, and you can literally feel that. It feels tight. And you know when you're talking to somebody who's really tight. So you want to expand. You want to give yourself space to breathe. So I want you to imagine this biofield that is around you. Just imagine it like a toroidal shape. It's like a donut around you. It's a biofield that is a matrix that comes off your skin. And I want you, with your mind, your body knows exactly what I'm talking about. So just with your mind, push that biofield out. Just let yourself expand right now and see if you can expand it as far to fill the room that you're in right now. Give yourself space, space to breathe, space to be expanded, not feel so tight. And as a last step, we're going to explain something called circuits a little bit later in a lot of detail. But for right now, your body knows exactly what I'm going to say right now. And that is, with everybody who's here on this webinar, imagine you're connecting from your heart to their solar plexus, which is right by the sternum. It's sort of right by where the stomach is, a little bit higher than the stomach, in your sternum area. Everyone that's here, connect heart to solar plexus. We are so used to connecting heart to heart, especially in the spiritual community. That's like the thing to do, is connect heart to heart. That is a two-way transmission of each other's emotional junk. And you do not want that, especially in this time when fear is bearing down. So that is one of the most important tools. And we're going to go into that one in much more detail in a little bit. But for right now, just see how it feels to connect heart to solar plexus, which means everybody else is connecting heart to solar plexus with you as well. And just feel that freedom. Now take note. How are you feeling right now? Did that change anything in your state of being? Did that bring you more into your presence? Did it wash some of anxiety away, and or even just a little tightness? So just take a note of that. Those are some of the baseline spiritual hygiene steps that you want to be taking. What?
No, I feel good.
You feel good now? Oh, good. At least we have one person who's feeling better. So I just wanted to briefly address, especially those of you who are new here, I just wanted to introduce ourselves just a little bit here, because, you know, we use this phrase, a new humanity, and you know, one of the standing jokes is that, oh, we're starting a new cult. Yeah, let's have a new cult here. It's like, it is, you know, far from that. But, you know, the only way you're going to know that is by getting your own evidence. You know, one of the things is that we're so used to is if there is such a comprehensive body of knowledge that comes, we start shutting down and resisting because, oh, what if I'm going to be drawn into it against my will? And so I invite you to have a state of being and a stance of open curious, and let yourself hear what is being invited. Because when you think about what normally, you know, when there's a belief system or a tradition or a spiritual teaching, you know, generally it comes with a lot of rules and regulations. And if you violate those, you might not be able to, you know, be part of that group. And so you fall into line. But what this work invites is what we're calling a self-referencing. And as I was preparing for this, what popped in is a future referencing. So we are standing right now at an incredible opportunity. The world is literally crumbling in front of us. The world as we know it has changed within such a dramatic short period of time. It's almost taking our breath away. I mean, just feel into it. This is like 2 weeks ago was different than a week ago was different than even yesterday. It is absolutely amazing and breathtaking how fast things are changing. And so, you know, all of us are kind of holding on for dear life. But what we have in front of us is the most awesome opportunity to look at what choice can we make right now as humanity. How we have lived on Earth clearly is not working. And as I was preparing this whole resilience thought, you know, the Earth, nature herself, is the best example of resilience. And what are those aspects of resilience? Diversity is one of them. Redundancy is one of them. Variety. And so when you look at how we have designed our systems, they are top heavy, they're monopolistic, they're monocropped, and they're breaking just like that. They're brittle and they're breaking just like that. There's no flexibility in our systems and in ourselves. And so the choice we have right now is to look at what does it mean to move into our future in a completely new way, a new humanity emerging out of the rubble of that's falling in front of us. And I know Rennie is going to be talking a lot more about that. And so the other thing that I just wanted to introduce real quick is Vote Hope 2020, which is the basis for this monthly webinar. We're going to be doing these monthly webinars for pretty much the rest of this year. And Vote Hope, if you really feel into voting for the hope of humanity, given the time we are in right now, it is about as perfect as it gets right now. And what we're doing is we're using the power of frequencies to balance the fear in the world. Frequencies is that realm right now that we as humans can learn the power of. Last webinar, I introduced this notion that it took us 100 years to to bring hand washing, sanitation, hand washing into our hygiene guidelines. It took 100 years for that. So let's not let it take another 100 years for frequencies to be understood as one of the most powerful aspects that we have in our toolkit. And so we have access to a frequency that is impervious to the density of fear, and it can help balance life on earth, literally. And so Vote Hope is a meditation, which we will be doing later, that you will be experiencing, that can not only bring you into a fear-free state of being, but it can help balance fear on earth. And that is pretty awesome. And so Vote Hope 2020 is a project to come together, to bring together 1 million people in November to do this meditation all at once, sending this frequency out into the world all at once, 1 million people. Holy moly, that is going to have an impact, I promise you. And so that is what we're inviting you to join as well. And so these monthly webinars is designed to help get us ready, get us prepared, and to bring 1 million people into this one moment in time. So were you
jump in?
Yeah, why don't you jump in?
Okay. So anyway, I want to try to explore what happens when everything that you know for sure is slipping and sliding. And I want to start with time and space. Time and space is like that we absolutely know for sure that time and space is the natural order of things. So what's happened to me, Kirsten, and a team of people around us, we're a whole family, is that we have been the recipients of a wave of new information. It's truly new information. You won't find it in any tradition, any religion, any new age practice. We all come from those traditions ourselves, but we've learned that time and space is not the natural order of things at all. Simultaneity is the natural order of things. And that the past, the present, and the future are all occurring right now at the present time. This is so difficult at an early stage of awareness when we're in a physical world to even grasp this concept. But I'm starting here today because what it's done is, by being able to step into the shoes of simultaneity, it's given us a tool that we want to share tonight that basically looks at all of the speculation about the time in which we live from the eyes of the future. So imagine if you could stand in the shoes of the future and look back on the present time and actually have the advantage of a looking glass of hindsight. So when the future looks on this time, it sees the White House has predicted that the virus will probably be over by July or August. And the future sees that their scientists say, no, not really, that's not correct. Actually, it's going to be probably until we have a vaccine. And the earliest possible time for a vaccine is at least a year from now. What the future sees is that we all are steeped in this view that calamities come. Humanity's been challenged before. We've always gotten through it fine. But fundamentally, it's all going to work out. Everything's going to be normal. Everything's going to be fine. And it's not to spook us. This is just information. That's all. The future looks back in the present time, and what it sees is an age of extinction. What it sees is reoccurring waves of pandemics, followed by a cascade of climate calamities. If you're thinking that we're just another generation passing through the world like every previous generation in history, and certainly in the eyes of evolution, no biggie, nothing, just another generation, that's not how the future sees us at all. The future sees this as absolutely a time like no other. The future sees that this absolutely is being driven by the crossroads of evolution. That if you want to understand the time in which you live, you have got to open up to seeing through the eyes of evolution. And so I've decided to basically take what I consider to be a gift. I mean, it has good news and bad news, I'll say that, but just to write a pamphlet, you know, I mean, just to let the future speak to the present time. We call it the Declaration of the New Humanity. And today is really a special day for me personally because I feel like the writing is done. And so now today I get to pass it on to our design department and our edit department. Okay? But anyway, it's close and it's coming your way. And it's one of the things that's so inspiring, you know, and unexpected, honestly, to me personally, was that the future sees this gathering right here tonight. Okay, the people that are in this band of people we're calling the New Humanity, people who are open to new understandings entering the world, people that are at least at the doorstep, you know, checking it out. You know, what is this about? You know, all of us really are actually going to do something incredible. And what it is, you know, without getting self-important in any way, we're just going to go step by step and literally create a new way of living on Earth, motivated by a time like no other. I'll give you some idea, an example of, you know, some motivation for me personally. I go and make a salad, okay, and it's just like clockwork. I can count on this, you know, way in another room in the house, I hear his voice call out, "Did you wash your hands?" And I know I swallow, you know, and I realize, oh, whoops, maybe not, you know, but I'm working on it. So I just have never been that good about sanitizing hands before I make a salad.
No, this was before any of the C virus ever happened. This has been for years.
I'd say it's really entrenched. Okay, we know that. So anyway, but now I have a little clock in my bathroom. You know, it's got a second watch. You know, I watch the seconds. I get an antibacterial soap. You know, I go under my nails. I go in between my fingers. I go up and down. You know, then I look at the clock, and you know, I'm trying to do this for 2 minutes. It is, oh my God, it's only a minute. I gotta go another bit. Have you ever washed your hands for 2 minutes? You know, anyway. But I am really proud of myself. I mean, I am motivated, and I am doing it, and I am. We may have different views about how well, but I am really in there. I'm changing. I am motivated to have sanitized hands.
So you have to be careful what you wish for. You know, I've wished for him to be a little bit more hygienic with washing his hands. It was a little bit much to have the virus show up. You know, be careful what you wish for.
So anyway, the thing is that in the same spirit, there's a range, we'll just call it a 12-point program to draw on something, that basically invites all of us to have the same motivation to basically sanitize our entire spiritual hygiene. And so we can't cover everything today. So we're going to set up a little event where, you know, we're going to go through this and you can take it all in. But I do want to basically just introduce two discoveries. Okay. Now this is information to the world. You won't find this in any tradition or any religion or any spiritual practice that I'm aware of. You know, this is all brand new. And so there's a part of it coming into this circle where you do the best you can. You try to lay down what you think you know and just open up. You know, we're not trying to persuade anybody of anything. We're just trying to share information. That's all we're trying to do. And if it fits for you, it belongs to you. If it doesn't fit for you, just set it aside. We're never here to make any arguments at all. But I'm going to introduce something so profound and so relevant and I mean, just what a treasure. I mean, this is like finding a treasure chest as you're walking down the beach. What I'm about to share. It's not been discovered by our science, but it could be discovered by our science. It really could be verified. This is any science fiction or no. This is really an important, significant new discovery about not only how the world works, but how to navigate this time of fear and despair and worry with ease and grace. So here's how I want to begin. I want to begin with a single thought. And to be technical for a minute, human beings don't actually yet have thoughts. They have things. One thing leads to another, to another, to another, to another thing, to another thing, until finally all the things are completed, and that produces a thought. So we do things. So let's just take a little survey right now of everybody who's here and see how many things did we have today? Today. Okay, and so taking an average of everybody in this webinar right now, the number I come up with is 51,000 things per person today. Okay, so some of them, I mean, how many can you remember? You know, I mean, if you were to try to write down everything that you had today and you came up with 150, then this is how aware you are of your things. 150 would be the numerator and 51,000 would be the denominator. So this just says that our current awareness is somewhere around 5 to 6% awake. And the information that we're sharing from the new humanity is designed with motivation, okay, to basically fully wake up in one lifetime. That is our mission. That is what we're trying to do. And right now it begins by understanding one of the things that is in your way, one of the things that's going to pull you into a black hole of despair, depression, fear, worry, stress, if you don't master what I'm about to say. So here we go. You have a think, and what happens exactly? Does it go poof, or does it have a shelf life? It has a serious shelf life. The first thing that happens is as an airborne hormone comes off of your skin and envelops this thought form in a chemical medium. So it's in a chemical medium. The thought form itself is electrical, which means it has atomic weight. So it absolutely could be discovered by scientific instruments that do exist presently today. Now it's lighter than air, so it floats up into the atmosphere. It's not a living, it's not self-aware. It has a form of intelligence though. It's a think. And basically what it does, it's drawn to other things that are similar. So let's take the Christian religion all over the world. All the things of all the Christian believers go into the atmosphere and they gravitate, attract to each other to create a collection of things, which here I'm going to call a gestalt. And so now we have a Christian gestalt in the atmosphere that is attaching itself with a chemical medium all the way back from the atmosphere to the crown of the head of the Christian believer. I'm describing something that really does exist. And it really is important right now in this age of extinction, that's how the future sees our present time, to really master and understand what I'm about to say. This is being recorded, yes?
It is.
So you can return to this and listen to this again if you want to. All right, so now what you've got is, you know, the millions and millions of Christian things in a gestalt in the atmosphere. and it's connecting with a circuit. This is a chemical medium that comes from the gestalt all the way down and attaches to the crown of your head. Then it goes down and it roots in a blood cell. So now the fears, the conspiracy theories, I mean, everything that's in that gestalt can bleed into your bloodstream if you're attached to that Christian gestalt. And it's not just Christianity, it's Buddhism and Muslims and capitalism and every thought form, every collective belief system out there. There's millions of these things in the atmosphere, and it is the number one thing affecting and influencing the human race. Now you've got a pandemic where fear is sweeping the planet. And not only do you have collective gestalts, but because somehow the human race managed to fracture its mind, so now we have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and an unconscious mind. Unconscious thoughts, those are all the ones that we can't even remember we had today. Those unconscious thoughts go out and they form the same exact thing, but now it's a collective unconscious. And what do you think is in that? It is home of the fear. It is home of the hysteria. It is just, I mean, in this time when you're trying to sanitize your hands and also sanitize and have spiritual hygiene, the last place on earth that you want to connect to is to the collective unconscious, the home of the fear, because fear is intensifying. Now, those of you that have been coming to these programs, the equinox and solstice that we do regularly for, a while, know that I have been sitting on this chair and telling everybody over and over again, fear is coming, pandemics are coming, climate calamities are coming, we want to get ready now. One of the great things about today, besides the fact that I don't have to basically worry about the declaration anymore, is that I also don't need to beat the drum and sound the alarm anymore. We can all see it for ourselves, what it is here. And so this is a moment where basically what you want to do is what Kirsten just did, is to ground to the earth and not ground to the collective unconscious. The difficulty is that it's harder than it sounds. Let's say today you turn on the television and you watch a press conference from the White House and you think to yourself, what institutional incompetence is this? And how in the world can this be? And basically there's judgment or there's anger over the fact that it's not being taken seriously enough and quick enough, soon enough, whatever, okay? Or you're just pulled into the depression of what's going on the planet. All of that will tie you right into the collective unconscious. And so now it becomes essential that we cut our circuits at the root to the collective unconscious, as well as all collectives in the world. I don't know, is there any collective in the world that is safe to go into where there's no fear? There actually is a new one that is called the Hope Gestalt. There, you can go there. You really could. You could go there and not be, there's no footnotes and no fine print where there's basically fear hiding in it. The spiritual new age is riddled with fear and judgment and finger pointing, but the Hope Gestalt is still pretty pure. So when we do the hope meditation, vote hope meditation, we're basically strengthening the hope gestalt. That's what we're really doing. And it's infusing the whole world. So what we're gonna do today is to, Kirsten's going to walk you through a step-by-step process to cut your circuits with all collectives on Earth. We already are buying into social distancing, so we're just going to buy into an energetic distancing. More than distancing, cut. Okay? We do not want the fears of the world bleeding into our bloodstream. Or basically, I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. I'm just telling you what how the future sees it. We're just warming up. Okay, I have said repeatedly that the time of the peaking of the calamity is 2022. This is still 2020, the early part of 2020, and then it goes on from there. I mean, if you're really been wondering, are we another generation passing through the world? The future really does see. No, we're not. We are a generation like no other. This is a time like no other. And I suppose the good news is that out of this know-how and this motivation to sanitize ourselves from A to Z, including all the emotional debris in our biofield, and doing things that we never would normally even think about doing, just like me making a salad. Okay, I'm telling you, this is so incredible what can happen. We can use this to motivate ourselves to basically step into an awareness where it becomes possible to be guided. Excuse me, it becomes possible to be guided and to be shown exactly step by step how to basically re-script the entire human story. And when the future looks back on the present time, it celebrates the day that we are born. And I am talking about everyone who is gathered here this evening. We thought we so messed up our time of stewardship on this planet. But the fact is that out of this worst of time comes the best of times. Out of this worst of times comes a new human being. We are going to be motivated, and we have the know-how for how to do it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that it is really in the cards to basically write a new human story in this lifetime. So I actually am showing up today feeling pretty buoyant and full of hope. I mean, this is a time when it feels like my whole life is just coming together, and we have so many tools to basically keep ourselves clean, keep ourselves out of the fear, and basically let our knowingness go on so that we can really find a way to basically make all of the changes that are going to be required by this time. And basically really create a new way of living. We're going to create showcases for how to do it. We're going to bring in, many of you know there are inventors that have just developed some of the most extraordinary technologies imaginable. They almost seem like fairy tales, and they really do exist, and they've just struggled their whole life. They never can seem to get them out and get them commercialized. We're going to bring them out into new humanity, new living communities. We're going to create a new humanity well-being system that's going to be the science-based holistic plan that basically brings the best know-how available in our holistic health community, into availability with new humanity well-being centers and the ability for new humanity people to actually socialize with safety and comfort because we have a know-how. It's many people have been asking me the last few weeks, is there a frequency that could basically keep the coronavirus at bay? And the coronavirus has a very low frequency, and we know exactly what it is. It turns out that we already have a frequency that is that basically just creates a force field around you that keeps the virus away. I'm not saying that it's going to keep you from getting the virus, though, because we still have so many things to work out on ourselves. We still do have emotional debris coming in. We still do watch television and get tied into the collective unconscious. And so that's where our own defenses come down. But so it's a process, and we're going to work it. But we have the know-how, and we have the tools to basically shine in this period, and to basically re-script the whole thing. I just want to briefly end here. Kirsten's going to take you through a circuit cutting process that is just invaluable for this time, and you will experience the difference if you basically do this every day. Multiple times a day would be wisdom. At the same time, I wanted just to say that something has happened for us that just is I don't know, it dazzles me, truthfully, I was wondering, I know from understanding Einstein that, all energy is, everything that we see in the world, including fear, is energy. It's one energy. But the thing is that the one energy can be compressed some more and made into fear. And so we one day we'll go into what fear really is. But for right now, just say that I just was very curious. Is there any possibility that there's any energy anywhere in creation that cannot be compressed, can never be touched by fear, is impervious to the density of fear? And just sitting and being quiet, it turned out, lo and behold, there was a place in creation. It was not in our galaxy. You had to go out of the galaxy to find what we might call a central sun. If you could picture a planet that looks like a diamond, about 10,000 times the size of our solar sun, that will give you an image. I mean, it's just so breathtaking, and it's radiating an energy of absolute, complete purity, and an energy that is impervious to fear. And we have, through our ability to travel with our mind at the speed of thought, captured this frequency and brought it into one of the most advanced recording studios on Earth to record this frequency for the first time on Earth. And that's what you're going to hear tonight. It's recorded and embedded in a meditation. And it's subtle. It's the lightest thing in existence, but if you want to take a purity shower every single day, just listen to the meditation every day. There it is. What the future has said is that this is one of the great discoveries of our time, but it's going to take us centuries as a species to fully grok and understand the magnitude of what this frequency is and the way and all the applications that it possesses. But for right now, what we have is the ability to basically do spiritual hygiene on a very high level by letting the energy of total purity, super purity, complete purity flow through our whole system every single day. And you do it and you get your own experience. That's all I can say. And I'm not saying it'll knock you on the head. It's subtle. It's very subtle, but it's profound and beautiful. And over time, it will literally erase. Even childhood memories of abuse are erased by this frequency. All emotional debris that you're carrying is erased over time by this frequency. So these are our gifts this evening. Number one, to understand that the collective unconscious and the gestalts really do exist, and that there is a precise, exact way to basically cut circuits to all of these gestalts every single day at the root, so the fear of the planet does not ever bleed into your brain chatter or into your bloodstream. And second, there is a way to do spiritual hygiene on a level that it just takes your breath away. Okay, this is an energy impervious to fear, of complete purity. You can take a purity shower that just is breathtaking and beautiful. And we're going to introduce that to you this evening.
And if you can just feel how what Rennie just said can help you step into a resilience, an inner resilience that is absolutely unshakable no matter what happens in the world. If you can be disconnected from the fear of the world and keep your own inner state of being clean, clear, calm, centered, you can move through anything. And then, over time, you develop things like being in the flow and in knowingness, such that you are at the right place at the right time every time. That's how you start then creating your reality within the larger reality. And again, as Rennie said, this is not just a simplistic statement of let's create our own reality. No, there's understandings that are there where you have to understand, you know, everything that is affecting how you are creating your reality between the subconscious and the unconscious, and everybody who's at the table with their voices in your head, you know, all of them affect your perception. So it's not enough to just have a nice mantra of, you know, I'm creating my own reality. So there is complexity to that. But one of the things that has emerged for me this year, I seem to be going into this theme thing lately. Last year I had a theme of risk, flow, and trust. That was sort of the theme that I was developing last year. And this year it is absolutely 100% the theme of choice. And I think that is, on a broader level, what every single one of us, as well as humanity as a collective, is standing in front of us right now, is choice. And so anything that you're doing is a choice. Whether you let yourself be drawn into the social unconscious is a choice, ultimately. Whether you're going to go and do a meditation to keep yourself clear of fear, or if you choose to look at the news, all of it is a choice. Do you choose to be present right now, right here, or let your thinking take you somewhere off? And I understand that all of these are really, really difficult. Some of them feel impossible. We've lived our life in thinking, where the brain is basically in charge, and I'm putting that in air quotations, you know, where our egos are basically running the show. It feels nearly impossible to actually have the choice. But when you understand how all of those mechanisms work, you know, what is pulling your strings, you can start making the very methodical, clear step-by-step path towards presence, towards making choices that align with who you are becoming. You know, this is about referencing the future and understanding who you can become if you choose it. It's not a done deal. This is not one of those, you know, we're all about to ascend into some other dimension because it's just going to happen to us. No, this is about your choice and the will to do it, the will to step out of, and I'm going to say this word, addiction to our emotions, to the egos. And so that is one of the cautions that I would put out here in looking at how are you meandering this crisis that is here right now. Are you being drawn into looking at the news because there's something in you that is actually addicted to being a part of the human experience and the human collective fear? And these are deep, deep questions that some of you may at the moment feel uncomfortable even going there. Is like the immediate response is like, oh no, absolutely, I wouldn't. Take some time and really see, when a news item pops up that has some kind of a headline that grabs your attention, what is the draw to open that up? What are you feeling inside? That is an addiction to wanting to go in there. That's a draw in. And the question is, what choice do you make? Do you make the choice from, yes, I will check that out because it's something I need to know, or no, I will actually step somewhere else? And this is a powerful understanding, to have this choice moment in every nanosecond of your life. What choice are you making? Which direction are you pointing your nose and walking? That is up for every single one of us. And so, you know, what we're introducing tonight is the choice to actually stay spiritually clean, your own inner hygiene, clean from the collective. So let's go through circuit cutting. Let's do this. And trust me, this tool is beyond powerful. In a little bit, I was going to show you a little write-up that one of our folks in our master class wrote about, you know, waking up in the middle of the night, feeling a total panic and realizing that he had connected to social consciousness and having the tools to step out of it. And so this, sometimes, you know, we'll be driving down the road and all of a sudden there's a wave of fear coming, and it's like, where the heck did this come from, right? Have you ever experienced that? Where it's just like, there's no reason why I should feel fear right now, yet I just had a wave of fear. That has happened to me numerous times, and I guarantee you almost every single time when I've been present enough to realize cut circuits to social consciousness, it dissipated the fear like that. It is that powerful when you are connected to the social unconscious versus when you are disconnected. So really take this tool to heart. It is one of your most powerful spiritual hygiene tools that you have. So again, what Rennie said, the circuits come into your body and they connect into the blood cell. And so for visualization purposes, visualize a cell like an open clamshell. Okay, so there's two sides to it and they connect towards the bottom of those two sides to create like a clamshell. And that is the blood cell that you can visualize. And the circuit comes right down into the base of that blood cell, right where they connect. That is where circuits root into the blood cell, okay? So make sure you have that visual. And if you're not a visual person, saying it is equally powerful. It'll work just as well, okay? So when we cut circuits, and I say now take your spiritual scissors and cut, 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 that is where you want to go, right to the base of it where the root is, okay? So what we want to do is right now, and we're going to go through this relatively fast, but what I'd like you to do right now is just to visualize all the circuits that you have currently connected into any gestalts, any collectives, and especially the social unconscious, the collective unconscious. If there's anyone you want to cut right now, if you just want to try that one, at least do that one. And again, note how you feel right now, and then note how you feel afterwards. So just in your mind right now, just bundle all of these circuits that are coming into you, bundle them up with your perception, okay? And see them coming into the base of the blood cell. Now, this is a hologram, and so through the hologram, one blood cell, you cutting the circuits out of one blood cell, it'll do it in all the blood cells. It just, the hologram works that way. So you just have to imagine one blood cell, circuits coming into that blood cell. So make sure you have them all bundled up. Just find all of them. Just bring them together like strings. Bring them all together. And now, again, note how you feel right now. And now take your spiritual scissors and go right at the base of that blood cell and cut, 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 cut. Literally see them disconnecting from you. They're all now floating away, going to their rightful place. You do not need them. Cut, 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 until every single one is cut. From any collective gestalt, social conscious, social unconscious, all of them, you are cleared out from all of them. And just note how you feel now. Did anything subtle change? Just note it. Maybe you felt it, maybe you didn't. It doesn't matter. Now, the thing with this tool is that the moment you look at the news, the moment you have any reaction to what you're seeing out there, that circuit goes right back. So this is one that you want to do multiple times a day. You want to stay paying attention to how you're feeling throughout the day. And anytime you remember, at a very minimum, cut your circuits in the morning, right when you wake up, and at night, right before you go to sleep. At a minimum, that is what you want to do. And add to that the things that I taught you right at the beginning, those spiritual hygiene tools of grounding, bringing the earth energy in and having it circulate in your body and your biofield, opening and one breaths. Those are some key foundational things you want to be just doing every morning and every night, just like brushing your teeth. Just add them to that habit and that routine. And you will start feeling better, clearer-headed, less confusion, less fear and anxiety in your body. It'll start clearing you out and helping you maintain a space that is more livable for you and more from which you can make clearer decisions. There was this headline that I just saw from a scientific study that said, "Fear makes you dumb." and it was literally a scientific study that showed how the hormones that get released into the bloodstream causes confusion in the brain. It changes your body chemistry, it affects your brain chemistry, and you literally, as they said, become dumb. You don't make good decisions. And so in this kind of a time that we're in and moving into, staying clear, staying calm, staying open is absolutely essential, so that you can keep listening internally, listening to your knowingness, following the flow, so that, again, you are exactly where you need to be at the right time, at the right place. It is where magic lies. This is where the magic and delight of life lies, and you can tap into that. It requires you to clean up some stuff over time, and this is the beginning. We're laying kind of a foundation for that. But once you can clean up that stuff and quiet your brain, you can start that. And just today, I have a bi-monthly call with 3 guys from a leadership course that I took. Oh my God, like 15 years ago, 18 years ago. We were an accountability group, and we just continued meeting. And one of my guys, I call them my boys, he is a leadership coach, and he normally flies all over the world, and he's coaching the CEO of Adidas and, CEO of this major company. So he's normally flying all over the world. It just so, quote unquote, happens that for the next 2 months, he has been focusing more on scheduling one-on-one coaching clients that he can do from his home in Barcelona on the phone via Zoom. It just so happens, and he was sort of kind of like, wow, that was lucky. And I was laughing. I'm like, guy, you have no idea how powerful you are in creating your own reality, and your flow of life knew what was coming, and you designed it, even though you didn't know what you were designing for. You designed it so that you wouldn't have to be in a plane and flying all over the world for these next few months. That's what being in the flow of life is. That's what is trusting the flow of life and trusting your knowingness. This is what we are working towards, what we're moving towards as a new humanity, where we become self-referenced, self-trusting, trusting in that knowingness. This is what we're working on, so that we can shift out of the thinking and the analysis and the looping that goes on up here all the time, into quieting this down and listening to our mind, to our knowingness, to to that future self that we are becoming. That's who we want to listen to, not to the past, not to our egos, and certainly not to social consciousness.
I'll just add one little thing to this whole discussion. For the new people especially, one of the things that we've discovered is that perception is the only thing that you can actually control. and your perception is your superpower. So if you're wondering how in the world am I going to cut circuits with spiritual, I mean, how does this work exactly? Perception is your superpower. Yes. So the thing is that we have thousands of these circuits as a human being. And basically what I do, and you can do this too, you can just take all the ones tied into the collective unconscious and the collectives, but you can also just group them all, and just they automatically group if you see it. So here's all the circuits to my biological family. Here's all the circuits to my very best friends. Here's all my circuits to the people with whom I work. Okay, here's all my circuits to the collectives, including the collective unconscious. And here's all these circuits that I don't even know what they are, but they're there. And I don't know if they have any more purpose anymore, but they could just be miscellaneous circuits. Okay, you can make clumps like that. And then you can decide to basically, I mean, if you want to be brave, and I mean, is your family circuits bleeding their fear into your bloodstream too? Yeah, they are. So you could start with the collectives, but you could just, maybe tonight you could do the collectives, and then tomorrow cut them all, bunch them and cut them all.
You're going to go for the whole shebang here,
just cut it out.
I was going to be gentle with them and just do that first step.
Well, I'm just saying for the brave ones who really want to basically clean deck of all fear, completely bleeding into your bloodstream from the thoughts of others, even best friends. Okay, that is the way to do it. And basically, as you go forward in this work, that's what everybody will do, okay? And you do it regularly. And just, it is so, I mean, you will, I mean, I don't care if you don't experience anything. This is something you will experience if you do it and you work it. You really will. There's no reason for fear to be bleeding into you at all in this time like no other. And yes, fear is enveloping the world, and we're just getting started. And that's why this tool, cutting circuits to the collectives, is really your number one treasure to understand and to do and to experience yourself. This is the choice to become fear-free in a time like no other.
And since you decided to go into this arena, be clear that, like, let's say you choose to cut circuits to friends or family, you are not isolating yourself from them in terms of you're going to be alone and you're never going to see them again. It's not like that. What the new humanity is doing is taking back its own energy. We are claiming our own space, and then from a mature place, we then choose to connect when we connect, but then when we're done, we take our energy back. That is what maturity looks like. That is what waking up looks like, where we're not just, have circuits all over the place so that we can feel safe because somehow we have all these energies coming at us. No, we know how to manage our internal world, and then we move from that place to make choices in how we connect. And when we connect, as I said in the beginning, from our heart to their solar plexus, so that that emotional debris doesn't go back and forth. And when you're done visiting with those people, you cut the circuits. So tonight, when we're done after the meditation, I'm going to direct you to cut circuits to everybody here so that you can come back to your beauty, your serenity, your space that nobody else needs to be part of. We're so used to being bombarded by everybody's energy that it feels like a fake safety. It feels like we're part of something. But when you can clean up that, and when you can come to your own space, it's like a breath of like, oh my goodness, this feels good. And so that's what we're working on. So when we say, cut circuits to your family, it's not like you're walking away from them and abandoning them, or they're abandoning you. Has nothing to do with it. That's an immature interpretation of that tool. This is all about maturity as we're waking up as a species. So So those are some of the tools that we have. So we introduced the beginning tools, we introduced you to circuit cutting, and you will now, just in a short while, have the full force of electrical life in its purest form as probably one of the most powerful, no, all right, I'll rephrase that, the most powerful tool you'll get. And you all got emails that has the link to the meditation itself, so you can download it and have it on, it's a free gift from us. So, make sure that you get it yourself, and then also join us on our Facebook page for Vote Hope 2020, so that we can start sharing our experiences and start growing that family that ultimately in November will all come together. And, our BHAG is big, hairy, audacious goal. BHAG is to have 1 million people do this together. And, just really, when you're doing the meditation, just imagine 1 million people doing this is going to be so amazing. So really, I hope that, once you get your experience, that you will, let it go out into your network as well.
If you want to get a little taste of why we're excited about this discovery, electrical life in its purest form, I would suggest you go to votehope2020.life, okay? And there's a write-up there that explains how the whole thing happened and who's involved. And there's technologies involved. And there's saguaros in Arizona involved. I mean, it's a breathtaking story.
Cool.
I mean, it really is. And it just, we're at the surface here just to hear it, but there's so much to it, and there's so much richness to it. And I think most of you will really feel inspired if you'll take a little time and dig deeper to see that Vote Hope meditation is really a gift to our time. And it is one of the most empowering, however subtle it may seem, contributions to this growth of the new humanity on Earth.
So as you can probably tell, there's 10 more, 20 more, 30 more tools in our tool chest that we could have given you, don't have time for it right now. And so for those of you who are really interested in taking this a step further, Rennie and I put our heads together and said, okay, what can we offer you guys that would really take you to the next step and give you a more comprehensive toolkit to walk away with. And so if you just bear with me for just a few minutes, for those of you who are really interested in taking this to heart, I just want to share briefly what your next step could be with that. So let me just quickly do a screen share here. So we put together just a miniature course that we're calling Unshakable Inner Resilience Mini Course. And so it's a 4-week course. It's a really short little course, but what you will learn is how to understand what fear really is. There's a whole understanding around what fear is, where it comes from, and how you can move out of its tractor beam, what you can do to make the choice not to be in fear. Fear sometimes feels like you have no choice but to go into fear. I can guarantee you when we're done with you, you will understand that fear absolutely is a choice. How to step into a calm-centered, fear-free state of being no matter what's going on in the world. Now, that alone would be worth the time. You're going to, as I said earlier, get clear, concise, no fluff, step-by-step tools and practices to maintain your inner hygiene. You're going to learn how to cultivate an inner resilience that is truly unshakable, and how to move into flow, trust, knowingness as your guide in life, so that you can be at the right place at the right time always. So those are some of the key things you'll learn, and I promise there's much more than that. And really, this is for you if you really sense that this time is a golden opportunity to make a leap in life. This is not just our usual, let's see if we can wake up just a little bit more. No, what we have here, this body of knowledge will help you make a quantum leap in this lifetime that will knock your socks off. And so, you know, this course is for you if you understand that this is a golden opportunity. If you are open to the possibility that powerful new information is available and that now to allow a new human to emerge. So, you know, if it's oftentimes it's like, oh yeah, we have everything we know from our spiritual traditions and we just have to go back to that. No, this is not like that. This is about referencing the future, that future self, and saying, how do we become that in a very fast way and a clear, precise way. And this is for you if you're open, curious, and a student state of being. If you walk into this skeptical and, you know, and closed off, you're not going to get much out of it. And if you're interested in precise tools, clear frameworks, and no fluff solutions. And so, you know, this is not for you if you're totally satisfied with what you've learned already in life and everything, and you know exactly how to manage your fear, your worry, anxiety, and stress. If you know how to do that, you might learn some things. I know you will learn some things, but if you believe that's where you are at, this is probably not for you. Or if you want just a feel-good spiritual Band-Aid, we don't do Band-Aids here, you know. We give solutions here for real deep work. And if you feel more comfortable joining the rest of humanity in its rush into fear and hysteria, and, you know, everybody's probably going, of course I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in that. But really, that's why I address the addiction part to it and the feeling of being part of something. You are swimming against the stream when you say, I'm choosing to stay in my joy. I am choosing to not go into fear and hysteria, no matter how bad it gets. That can be challenging when the rest of humanity is in complete, utter panic. So really feel into that. If you're not ready for that, you know, that you might want to think about that. But if you're ready to step into something completely different, a different way of being, this is something you want to really look at. And if you're completely have lost all hope for the future of humanity, you know, then you might not want to come into this as well, because we're going to give you boatloads of hope in this. That is what this is about. And just so you guys could see, you know, we have a master class that is going on. We call it the Call to Evolve Master Class. And these people have been with us for quite a while. And, you know, these are some of the things, I just took these off of our Facebook group and people sharing. You know, Ryan said, so true about this time being a great opportunity. I love that I found a new way of being able to control the egos, and the juiciness and the knowingness really light me up. But also how I continue to step deeper into trust. So that was Ryan. And then here, this is Vidya, who I mentioned earlier. He said, I woke up at 3 a.m. with absolute terror surging through my body, but no point of reference or reason for it. I really never expected it to get this fearful. So I used notice and observe, which is one of our big tools. And the tools we've been given over the years, especially bringing an electrical life. I knew it wasn't me, and was coming from the fear of the world. But wow, if this is what people are going to be experiencing without any of the tools we have, well, I cannot imagine. And then this was Adam. He made a long post, and I took some of the real nuggets out of this. He said, I feel like yesterday was a turning point for me internally. Something shifted inside me deeply. I got that the world is in fear and not sure what to do. I allowed myself to feel the fear while being the observer. I also got that I am responsible for my perception. This is my reality, and I get to create it. I had a journey where I saw and felt myself evolving through the events that are coming. I saw that by being electrical life in its purest form, I can create my own reality no matter what happens. I'm choosing to be present and responsible for my reality all day, every day, for eternity. The human game just leveled up, and I am leveling up for it. So those are just a few of the things that are being said on our masterclass Facebook page, and this is what is possible for you as well if you really truly step into this journey to your authentic self, to your future self, and who you can choose to become. So really quickly, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. If you want to join us, wonderful. So the course pattern is, as I said, it's a mini course. It's 4 weeks. We're going to do 4 webinars every Wednesday starting April 1st, and it's going to be at 11 a.m. in the morning. They will be recorded if you can't make that time. You're going to get videos and write-ups for tools and practices, and there will be a private Facebook group for learning and sharing where I and the coaches, some of our coaches will be present, so we will be able to answer any questions that you have. So it's, as I said, this is a quick, dirty, need to, implement right away kind of a course. And normally we would charge $297 for it, but if you sign up for it by tomorrow, it'll only be $97. So this is basically a lifeline that we're sending to anybody who is ready to make a leap in their evolution. And, if you want to join us, the way you join us is by going to ffh.org/inner resilience. Lakita or Josh, if one of you could put that into the chat so that everybody sees this and has it, that would be great. So ffh.org, inner resilience. And this is such an easy choice right now, because what is more important, we're all sitting at home, we're all doing social distancing right now, and we are really evaluating what we are doing right now. That's where we're all at right now. And I'm seeing so many what if emails or Facebook posts coming through. What if this is a way for us to come back to what's more meaningful? What if this is a way where we can dismantle some of the craziness of the society we've built up till now? So there's a lot of what ifs. What if this is our golden opportunity to make the most profound leap in our awareness right now, to wake up 100%? 100%, what would that be like to have humans running around 100% with so much more maturity, so much more ability to manage their state of being, their inner state of being, to make the choice to be in a beautiful, fear-free state of being? Could we balance the world just by ourselves as a small little group? Hell yeah. We have the possibility of that. So again, ffh.org /inner resilience, where you're at. So let's take a brief 5-minute break, and then we are going to start the meditation. And